Hey guys, it's Greg Holroyd from GH Magic and Magic Speaker again. Just thought I'd do a quick introduction video before I let one of my keynote talks start rolling. The main reason for this is the first 5-10 minutes of the talk wasn't recorded just due to a technical error. These things happen. The main things that I covered in here is, in this talk we talk about what I personally believe real mind reading is. We touch on it at least. I just wanted to let most of you guys know before watching this, most of the mind reading that you see me perform, as in like when I'm performing magic or on an event, is BS. I'm just keeping it real with you guys. I'm there to make it look like I'm actually reading minds. The things that's going on whilst I'm utilising these techniques, that's what I think real mind reading is. And all I think real mind reading is the ability to connect with someone so you can have a pretty good idea of what they're thinking and feeling. That's all it is essentially. There's a lot of assuming going on. We use a lot of body language techniques, some really cool things in there. I believe the video starts pretty much about 2 minutes before we get into the experiment of how to reality bend and sticking fingers together. And I think there's some really interesting concepts in here. So before I keep waffling on too many, I'm going to let the video roll now.
I agree with you guys. I'm doing things that make it look like I'm the real deal. So obviously begs the question, what do I think real mind reading is then? For me, real mind reading is simply the ability to attune ourselves to how other people feel and think. And at the time I was trying to work this out, how to do this with my performances so I could ethically move people to experience joy and confidence. That was kind of my big thing at the time. Fast forward to 2019, the POWA Academy and myself, we met a fascinating individual by the name of Paul Gutteridge. Paul's background is he is a behavior analyst who's been trained in the US and the UK by the CIA and FBI. Just by merely me saying that now, you can think this guy's had to deal with some mad situations in terms of like terrorism. He's dealing with far-right people, maybe trying to stop them from doing physical attacks towards Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. He can't tell me too much about it, but crazy background. His stuff has to work, otherwise life's on the line, right? We all agree, say yes? Yes. Perfect. So the reason why this guy's so fascinating, me and him, we had similar ideas. We ended up building this system together called the breakthrough system. He was using body language in terms of like how to have conversation, interrogation, stuff like that. I was using this for something completely different. And then me, the guys at POWA Academy got together and we've actually suddenly built this beautiful system, which is something that I'll be touching on today called the emotional impact system. All this is, the emotional impact system, is a system where you can quickly build trusting relationships so you can then ethically move people, whether that be in conversation, whether that be in negotiation, sales, so you guys can get a win-win outcome without the use of dishonest, complicated, or sleazy tactics. And we're only just starting to scratch the surface of this, so I'm super excited to be here to share this with you today. So that right there, guys, is my life in a nutshell, as weird as it may be. So with your guys' permission, I would like to get you all involved right now, including the guys on virtual, on Zoom and stuff like that, to do a quick little reality bending demonstration, show you how powerful this stuff is. And then immediately once I've done that, I'm going to break down exactly what's going on. And then we'll see how we can maybe use this to some fun business ideas. Does that sound good? Yeah. Awesome. So just for a brief moment, I'm going to get you guys to turn off the logical side of your brain, you know, the kind of stuff that deals with all the business stuff, the maths and all that. I need you to use the other side of your brain, the creative side. I'm going to get you guys to engage your imagination. So when I get you guys to imagine something inside your head, I don't want you to think it. Do you know, like, when someone is scared of spiders and they see a spider, they don't look at it and go, I'm scared of that. It's kind of like, oh my God, it's that! And there's a feeling that takes over the whole body, right? So when I get you to imagine something, that's what I need you to do inside your head for this to work. So if you can, and the guys on Zoom, what I do is just kind of pop your headphones in just so that way there's no distractions. All I need you guys to do is make a small OK sign with your forefinger and thumb like this. If everyone can do this with me. Perfect. Squeeze your forefinger and thumb nice and tight together. And I just want you guys to get used to the idea of staring in between your fingers. From it. I understand the guys on Zoom right now, you've got a screen to work with. You guys are listening to myself. But get used to the idea of staring in between your fingers. And what I would like you to do for me for a brief moment is I'd like you to use your imagination. Feel this, experience this. I'd like you to imagine, just for a brief moment, what it would feel like if you had a little blob of super glue in between your fingers. Maybe you can feel the warmness and adhesiveness of that glue, or the stickiness and tackiness. However you're most comfortable, imagine this inside your head. Really imagine what it would feel like to have a little blob of super glue between your fingers. And notice how you start to imagine that. You should start to feel something kind of strange in between your fingers. Just nod your head if you can feel that for me now. And as you start to do that, you'll notice your forefinger and thumb will squeeze tighter and tighter together as you start to imagine that glue locking and sticking inside of your mind. And when you are sure inside of your head that that glue is glued, locked, stuck together for me, just try and separate your fingers and find you can't. Don't pretend, really try. How weird is that? Don't pretend, really try. Now, this is a very simple thing. Now, in a minute, I'm going to get into exactly what's going on right now. Now, if I was to sit and suggest to you right now, they could separate, you should understand, just stop imagining this now, and your fingers should separate. Just stop imagining it. How weird is that? So, this is the art of reality bending. Hopefully none of you right now, it doesn't feel like hypnosis. I never put you in an alternate state of mind. There was no sleep, there was no trance, there was no weird going on, right? But for some reason, your fingers were well and truly stuck together. Would we all agree, yes? So we're going to get straight into exactly what is going on right now. And it comes down into three elements. The first element is probably the least important with what I'm going to discuss with you guys today is the idea of imagination. I went through this. I needed you to feel it, experience it inside your mind, right? I didn't just get you to think this. The second part of the triangle is the idea of suggestion. Suggestion is massively important because we live in a world of suggestion. You have parents, your parents have been suggesting things from birth. The mere fact that when I said spider and I got to the point of the floor there, I noticed some of you immediately looked at the floor to check if there was a spider. That there in itself is a suggestion. But this is what I just suggested. There's a bit of glue in between your fingers. And we kind of rock and roll from there. The final part, and it's also good to mention whilst on suggestions, you've got your internal suggestions and external suggestions. The external suggestions right now was the suggestions I was giving you. The internal suggestions is the voice inside your head justifying the actions that you're going through every day of your life. Does that make sense? Say yes. Perfect. So this is essentially how I bend. Finally, the most important part of this kind of triangle is the idea of belief. So if you think about it, belief overrides everything. It overrides logic, it overrides mathematics and science, stuff like that. I'm not going to get into the discussion of religion right now, but we can all agree belief overrides everything, right? So much so it can actually override a positive impact that you're trying to input in your life. If you don't believe that, it's going to be very difficult for you to follow through on that action. So this is why this works. But there's some of you right now who immediately I understood your fingers unstuck. Why didn't it work on me? Why did this not happen? And there's essentially only three reasons why it didn't work, and it goes straight back to the model I just described to you now. The first reason why this might not have worked, your fingers unstuck, might be a communication error. Not normally going to be the case in here now. This usually happens when I'm dealing with people where English is their second language. Obviously, they have to translate in their head. If they can't understand my suggestion, how are they going to imagine it? How are they going to believe it? It's not going to work. The second reason is, the other reason why this might work, I might end up trying to work with outside the limits of your imagination. So within hypnosis, particularly, we get told to tell people to imagine things that they've experienced before. A big thing in hypnosis, we use the idea of 3, 2, 1 sleep. The reason why we do this is because every single one of you in the room right now has experienced sleep, right? You've all had to go to sleep somewhere. It's easier to imagine something that's an experience than it is to imagine something outside we might not have experienced, like skydiving. I've never gone skydiving. I would find that very hard to really imagine what that feeling would be. Yeah, would that make sense to you all? And then the final reason why this might not work is probably the most common thing that happens is you override my suggestion with one of your own internal suggestions. So what do I mean by that? Some of you would have gone through the imagination process. You felt it, you experienced that with your fingers. And then I got to the point where I tested your imagination. Trying to separate your fingers and find you can't. That's me getting you to test your imagination like that. And then suddenly, some of you went like this. Some of you immediately go, it's not a problem. But what happens if you do this? It took hold of that, and then a little voice went like, why are they not sticking? Go on, separate them. I'm not suggestible. Yeah. Think of the irony of that statement right there. You gave yourself a suggestion and decided to follow it. So again, it still relays back into this model that we have been utilizing. So that is essentially the how this works. Why am I bringing this up to you today? There's some elements of this that are massively important. As I mentioned before, suggestions pretty much happen everywhere. We live in the real world. Just even when it comes to driving a traffic lights, the red, orange, green thing, there's suggestions right there. So if you're aware of these, it becomes hugely beneficial for yourself. In particular, just something for you to mull over a minute. Think about the negative suggestions you give yourself every day. The I can't do maths, can't do English, can't be bothered to do with my kids today, or whatever that suggestion is. If you keep giving yourself these suggestions, you start imagining the scenarios what happened here, then eventually, because it's how the brain works, we start believing these, and then suddenly you guys are sitting there going, I don't understand why I can't do maths. And yet you've been telling you guys for 10 years you can't do maths. Why are you surprised about the outcome so far? Stop giving yourselves those negative suggestions and start empowering yourselves. The other reason why this is so important is the idea of beliefs. It's good to be aware of what beliefs or lack of beliefs are holding you back. So particularly I see this a lot when people are trying to lose weight in martial arts. They don't believe they can do a certain thing, and then so as soon as you switch that belief system, we start seeing results. Another reason why it's good to be aware of your beliefs, and I see this an awful lot, particularly in scams, the businesses with fraud at the minute, especially because as businesses we are under a lot of strain trying to get our business back on that, is people can use your own beliefs in place to manipulate you. So if you believe in something and someone knows that and you believe it wholeheartedly, they can then go off and devise a plan, use your beliefs against you and start manipulating ways. It's good to be aware of this so this way when you see the signs, they're obvious when you can see them, I promise you. So, there the whys. How are we doing for time? Zach, you also got a quick little demo to go through. Yeah. Perfect. So, I'm going to take the exact same exercise with you guys again. I'm going to make it a little bit more personal this time. Just random question for anyone. Does anyone have like a silly little fear here right now, like a fear of spiders? Just you don't have to tell me what it is. Just raise your hands. Does anyone here have a silly fear of spiders? Silly fear of anything? Okay. I'm going to do this in the room. I'm going to do this with the guys on Zoom as well. You can do this as well. I've explained the model now. We're going to try and use this in such a way where it can be positive for your personal life or your business. So everyone can do this. I want you guys to engage your imagination a second again. And whatever that silly little fear is, normally when you think about that, you start to feel those negative feelings. I want you to think about it for a moment, and then I want you to instantly focus on those feelings. So just put yourself in a place of imagination for a second and imagine like that silly little thing, that silly little fear or whatever it is there, and then as soon as you start to feel those feelings, focus on those feelings. I can see some of you doing really well with this already, fantastic. And as you start to do that, inside your head, I want you to describe to yourself what those feelings feel like. Is it pulsating? Is it a big feeling? Is it spiky? Where is that feeling? Is it in the stomach? Is it in the groin? Is it in the leg? Is it in the chest? Really imagine where those feelings are. And for some of you, as you do this, it might get a little bit uncomfortable. Don't worry, in about 2 minutes' time, we're going to sit and do something really cool with this. And just give me a nod of the heads, just so I can sit and see who's actually feeling those feelings right now. Just nod your heads for me. You've described them. I want you to just sit there and make those feelings just a little bit bigger. So if it's spiky, maybe add a few little spikes, just because you've already done this. Don't go too crazy, but just make it a little bit more uncomfortable. And I can see in some of your faces now that it is literally getting uncomfortable. Keep it there. Now what I would like you to do, I want you to imagine changing different aspects of that feeling. So if it was spiky, maybe make it fluffy. If it was big, maybe make it really small. If it's spinning, maybe slowly slow that rotation down and even get to a point where you can stop it or even rotate it the other way. Make this a comfortable feeling for yourself. Just take a deep breath in and out. Perfect, and just keep making it more comfortable. Now we're going to take it a step further. Just give me a nod ahead. Is that feeling starting to feel more comfortable for you guys? Just real quick, just give me a nice nod. Beautiful. So before that feeling should be somewhere where originally it was might be your stomach or chest, somewhere uncomfortable, right? Now imagine moving that feeling to a part of your body that is more comfortable. So if it's in your stomach, you might feel a little bit better in the bicep or the forearm. This feeling in your chest, maybe you want to move it to your foot. I don't know. However's more comfortable for you guys. And as you start to do that, and when you've moved it inside your area, just open your eyes for me and you can start to feel nice and refreshed in 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Perfect. So just for the guys how's the feeling for now? Okay. Go back to that initial fear and think about that and notice how you initially felt compared to how you feel now. Is it better? Is it worse? Is it the same? I don't know. I'm looking forward to having some conversations with you guys after I've had my talk today about this. So hopefully you can see there, that was literally 2 to 3 minutes. I've done this with a maths group. I'm not sure how this would work over Zoom, guys. I will have a chat with somebody to see how this works out. So this is just a simple way how I use reality bending to manipulate negative feelings into positive. There's so many possibilities with this. Like me, and myself, and the guys at the POWA Academy are literally just scratching the surface of possibilities. At the minute today, I've used this in a slightly silly and fun way with you guys. Imagine if we was to sit there and take it into a completely different industry. Let's say the medical industry, for instance. And these are really good for people who go to doctors and stuff like that. These are highly suggestible people. They're dealing with worry, anxiety, fear. These make us highly suggestible. Doctors and stuff like that, let's say they get paracetamol, they've got a headache. Normally a paracetamol officially takes 10 to 13 minutes to kick in. When I last looked about 5 years ago. Let's say you go to them, right, here's a new paracetamol. If you take that like that, you should feel the effects of it work in about 2 to 3 minutes. Watch the patient sit there in the doctor's chair. Look at his watch, 2 to 3 minutes go by. Oh yeah, I'm starting to feel better now. We all know this is a placebo effect, but this is just one idea we can adapt reality bending to something far more better than just me entertaining you and sticking your fingers together, forgetting your names and silly little things like that. So, to summarize my talk today, there's 5 things that I'd like you guys to remember. The first one being is don't allow your beliefs or your lack of beliefs to hold you back. If there's a belief, you have a belief that's holding you back, it might be time to sit there and change that belief. It's a lot quicker than sitting there than changing the entire goal long term. Would we all agree? Say yes. Perfect. Be aware of the suggestions you give yourself and also to other people. We've all been in relationships where the other half's come home from work and you just look at their face and it's like, nah, I'm not doing it, I'm not talking to you today. Like, I can tell you've had a horrible day, you take it out on me. And it's normally just scrunched up face, the body language. Be aware of these suggestions, particularly if you are working with a team of people, if you're meeting a new client, whatever it may be. Also, again, be aware of your own beliefs and how they can be used by other people. They potentially use this power for what I call the dark side and manipulate you for their own gain. And the 4th point, I've actually created a small little ebook for you guys. I've sent that to Phil, Martin, and Mark. I'm sure they'll be able to send that across. There'll be some more resource about what I do, more about my confidence model, and there will be a link so you guys can check out a free lesson with the emotional impact system, like a big overview, so you can kind of see what we are about. And finally, especially this is kind of important because a lot of you guys mentioned this with your introductions, especially with COVID. Let's all address the T-Rex in the room, not the elephants, as how I actually got to me to say the damn T-Rex, right? COVID. So many things have changed in COVID. Start of COVID, I'll be real with you guys. I went to a weird state of depression. I've never had depression in my life. There's so much change. However, after the 4 weeks, I was like, it's enough of this, all of this depressing stuff. I started thinking clearly again. It's like, we live in a world of opportunities. The one thing I'll quickly go over with POWA Academy, we live in a world of right and wrong. Try and flip that on its head. We live in a world of opportunities now. Go out and find as many opportunities as you can, have fun with these opportunities, learn as much as you can from these opportunities, and whatever happens, happens. If you get the right outcome might have come from reasons outside of your control. As long as you put full effort in there, you learn from it, you have fun with it, it's a win-win situation in my eyes. Hopefully, guys, at least something resonated with you with this keynote today. The possibilities and joy it brings me to help empower other people, other businesses, to sit there and get what they really want in life. That for me is just an amazing feeling. This has been an amazing opportunity for myself, guys. I look forward to sharing some opportunities with you guys in the future. Thank you very much.